You're suspicious, maybe even dubious, haunting every move I make, and I'm waiting for you to stop. Why you have so much hate? In second grade, someone struck a chord within me. A friend said something very hurtful that profoundly changed the harmony between us and inspired me to write this song. An ensemble of emotions entered my body, like an orchestra of off-key, under-practiced, blaring amateurs. At 8, I didn't have the words or skills to process this experience. So I turned to songwriting. Music, like our emotions, is an invitation into our inner world. It's an opportunity to tune into our body, an instrument full of tension, and to create a release. Similar to the way we process our feelings, songwriting allows us to reflect, develop a narrative, or lyrics in this case, and ultimately attach meaning and melody to create a shared experience. I believe songwriting connects us to ourselves and others. Today, I will discuss the challenges with modern communication and social media, the universal power of music and emotions, and how songwriting and other forms of creative work can continue to create connection and a sense of belonging in our modern world. Today's world prioritizes productivity and often eliminates time for creativity and connection. In order to allow ourselves to feel, experience, and even make meaning of our daily lives, we must create space for reflection and artistry. This is the antithesis of efficiency. I argue that modern communication and social media ultimately creates an epidemic of loneliness. For example, let's consider emojis. One of the most common yet confusing emojis is the loudly crying face. It is used to express several different emotional states, such as overwhelming sorrow or frustration, or uncontrollable laughter, LOL. Our feelings are complex and deserve more than two-dimensional symbols. Between our assumptions, the lack of elaboration, and the avoidance of following up, so much is missed. Not to mention the overuse and insincerity on social media that assumes sameness rather than recognizing cultural and individual differences. While slang and emojis are trendy, there's an absence of nuanced dialogue. This prevents us from understanding instrumental aspects such as tone, intensity, and context of the message itself. I believe sound is what is essential. This leads me to the undeniable power of music and emotions. Have you ever listened to a song in a different language and felt the music move you? This is because music mirrors our natural rhythms, ultimately creating arousal, a type of musical empathy. We can all relate to the cadence of our breath, heartbeat, and wake cycles because the songs we listen to follow these unique patterns and sequences. Music bypasses our natural tendency to rationalize and make sense of the world, the same way our limbic system responds to threats or excitement. Unlike an emoji with a vague meaning, songs provide a universal language. Music, like emotions, has highs and lows, a slow, quiet, lower register ballad evokes sadness and longing, whereas a fast, loud, and higher key evokes joy and liveliness. It's as if music provides a global pulse for our core emotions and leaves enough space for our interpretation. An essential component of the human condition is the need to belong and be original, like sharing a carefully curated playlist. our own rendition of favorites that promotes unity but also celebrates our individuality. This brings me to the emphasis upon the artist. The reason we enjoy musicians is because their lyrics are relatable and make us feel like we are part of a community. Songs often have the same elements of a story, but composers purposefully leave out some details for us to fill in the gaps. I believe this space in music is what allows us to recognize a feeling and connect to the emotion to our own stories, and ultimately create a common ground. A moment in which creativity stands on stage and invites an audience to listen, feel, and ultimately belong. As social creatures, we crave human connection. Interestingly, we are experiencing an immense crescendo of artificial intelligence. I inserted a prompt into AI to write a song about a broken friendship in 2nd grade. I was left with a generic interpretation that provided no form of catharsis or inspiration. What I needed in 2nd grade was to feel the discord within me and release the pain. Music gave me an out. Songwriting gave me a stage to make thoughtful choices, empowering me to showcase my credibility and authenticity. In a moment where I could have felt a loss of control, I met myself more deeply and turned vulnerability into vocalization. Singing allowed me to relate. By externalizing my narrative, I welcomed an audience into my inner world. I believe we can all engage in this collective sharing of experiences to know we are not alone. To end, I invite you to find your art form and use it to express yourself intentionally, to move past cryptic emojis and inaudible text into spaces where you are using your voice. Sing or paint your anthems and transform your story into resilience and belonging. Watch out, look at me now. I've got my feet on the ground and my head in the clouds. Watch out, look at me now. I've got my feet on the ground and my head in the clouds. Watch out, watch out, watch